linebacker Justin Houston to a one-year contract, and Lucas Glover takes the win in the Wyndham Championship.
Our forecast, mostly cloudy with a chance of late afternoon showers and storms. The high 92 with a heat index at 103. Rain continues this evening with gradual clearing and a low of 70, sunny and 86 tomorrow. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
All right. Here we go. All right, Joe, you ready, brother?
I got you, babe.
All right. I got the best theme music. Oh, no, we're going to change it. Good afternoon, everyone. Boy, I can't say be safe afternoon. It is Monday, folks. It is Monday. It is Monday all day long here. And I got to tell you, from the National Weather Advisory, they are sending federal employees home in D.C., but a little bit locally right here. If you're on the roads, please be careful. Oh, somebody's giving me a twin. Okay, all right. A squeeze me Joe is what this is. Thank you a lot, sir. The balloon guy's here, folks. Hey, Joe. There you go. I know. Got to be a lot of love. Only on the radio, folks. Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday. It is On the Record with Brian Summers. We're live here on WSIC. And I've got my main man, my partner, my dude. I think he's cool, even though his suits have outgrew me and him. Let me just say, his name is Joe Baglione, and he's a business, everything. I think he should be the U.S. Treasurer, if you ask me. But we're going to get into that and understand. But he has a show on here called Smart Business Broker, and he just, on all things money and cents, I reach out and call Joe because he knows everything about dollars and cents and the markets, and he's going to give us a little wisdom here on this Monday. But before we get really going, please, if you're out there traveling, folks, I say this to any and everyone that's traveling on the roads, please be very, very careful. There are tornado warnings here in the area within Iredell, Wilkes, Rowan, and North Mecklenburg, all the way up the East Coast. There's some heavy traffic, heavy thunderstorms going on, and be very, very cautious. I got information that they were sending federal employees home back in D.C. So because of the impending tornado warnings in the Mid-Atlantic area. So be very, very careful. It's Monday, and we're going to get this going because Joe's here. I've got some birthdays that I really was trying to get done here before we got sort of interrupted by folks, but we're going to keep it going. Some special ones, particularly. I wanted to say very happy. Yesterday, I will tell you about my weekend a little bit. I had time to worship at South River Baptist Church yesterday, and I tell you, an amazing thing was that I saw two young ladies get baptized, and that was awesome. Two very young ladies get baptized, and that was a good starting off the Sunday. And then they were going to have their church worship service at MLK Park yesterday, but the rain came in and just kind of ruined that, so they had to do it there. But that was a part of my good weekend experience here while at home. And anybody out there as a member or goes to South River Baptist Church, as they say out there on the river, Marcel Souther. Today is her 80th birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Souther. I know her family and her children, and just want to wish her a happy birthday. I don't typically sing. I will not attempt to sing today, as I know Joe is down in our Cornelius studio, and he will hear me, and I won't do that to him and all the other good listeners who tune in to hear us here on WSIC. So, but Miss Marcel Souther, happy birthday to you. Another birthday kind of happening and going on right now. Sarah Plyler. Sarah Plyler is a class of 1989, Statesville High School, married to a very smart and guy who now has gray hair. His name is Matt. They're classmates of mine. Happy birthday to you. See, when I'm on the radio and I can talk about you, I pick at you a little bit. And then a belated birthday to Miss Ann King, all the way down there in Texas. She's a Statesville High School graduate as well. So some good people to just kind of share and sing some birthdays out to. Lee Drum, also a happy birthday. Deanna Mayberry. And Joe, you saying something? Okay. All right. I thought you were chiming in there a little bit, Joe. But again, some good birthdays kind of going on and around. Gwen Turman, birthday for her today. Lee Drum, a birthday today. Lisa Nelson, happy birthday to you.
Back.
Okay, sorry, an interruption there on it. David Katz, and happy birthday. Some that we missed over the weekend a little bit because it fell on the Friday, Saturday with their birthdays. Mary Ali, We have as well as we got there this picnic Kenya Templeton. Happy birthday to you. I knew you from high school as well. So anyway, some happy good birthdays going out there. Some folks that we may have missed because of the Friday Saturday in between here, but we made sure that we wanted to really shout you out on the birthday. Addison Campbell, happy birthday to you too. Raymond Burdett, happy birthday to you as well. Tons of people, folks. Lots of love and lots of birthday. My cousin, LaCheryl Turnspeed White, up there in Maryland all the way. Miss Maxine Nance, happy birthday to you. That is, you've got a really bad, hard-headed son there. His name's Chuck, but we're working on getting him straight, so he'll be a good guy. But no, happy birthday to you, Miss Maxine Nance, Mom Nance, as we like to call her. Happy birthday to you. And my old classmate, DeShay Cuto, had a birthday yesterday as well. So Bridget Frank Hobson, happy birthday to you as well. And so we're wrapping up the birthdays here. Wish everybody a happy, safe birthday. If we missed you, we love you. Want to let you know that, but you really didn't matter. So my guests in here today. Joe, talk to me, Joe. You there? You've lost him. Hey, Joe.
Can you hear me, Brian?
I can hear you now, brother. I can hear you now. Are you, Joe?
Hey, Brian. Thanks for inviting me on the show, but I do want to tell you, you really need to work on your invitation. You know, I mean, the first 5 minutes that you called me this afternoon and asked me to be on the show, you called me a no account, no good for nothing, such and such and whatnot. And then you said, hey, could you do me a favor and be on the show? So you got to work on that a little bit.
I did call you in Italian. So hey, look, man, listen, you know, again, I reach out and call on you. You're the money bags man around here. You're the only guy that's got he's got a 20 by 24 portrait of himself on cardboard. As soon as you step inside the doors of WSIC, and he's wearing a 1987 suit that he still owns. And so, I'm going to give it to him hard. Oh, yeah, this is on the record, and we going for it all day long, brother. But I appreciate you. I did. I really do very much.
On the record with Brian Summers. And Brian, thank you so much for inviting me, buddy. I really do appreciate it. It was funny because after you got done calling me a no account, no good for nothing, such and such, and then you quickly said, what are we going to do about these interest rates? So you just dug right into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you gave me a quick, I'm sort of a slow learner. You gave me a quick learn on just everything that was impacted through Fitch and what they did and what happened to the U.S. bond rating last week, which is just kind of, I know they announced the new jobs market, what they look like, 189 jobs added to the month of July, which was down from the 209 they had in June, which is down from the 319 they had in May. So none of those are projected up numbers. Everything is going in a slumper. Gas is going up. And when I look around and see all these troubles, and I'm not getting there hearing any music I like right now, I say, boy, I'm singing the Joe Baglione song. So I will call you, my friend, to kind of help us understand what is happening in the market, what is happening when it comes to businesses and small businesses, and what this projected decline in everything across the board looks like.
So Brian, your perspective is correct in that there is no positive story. But here's the other side of that coin. There isn't a negative either. So the problem is most small business people are uncomfortable because they just don't know. We're in a really peculiar time. You had mentioned interest rates, and I'll tell you something. Interest rates are the highest they have been for probably about 45 years. And so this entire generation is not used to, for a house, paying 7.5% interest rate, right? In my world, small business buyers have to pay 10.5% right now for an SBA loan. That is what is slowing down the economy because nobody is comfortable spending those types of interest rate payments currently. So that's probably the core.
Joe, hold on. We got to go to a break.
Question right
Joe,
there.
hold on. Got to go to a break, brother. Hold tight. All right.
Yep.
Keep it right here. On the Record with Brian Summers will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
This is live here on WSIC. It is storming outside. Tornado warnings are still very much in our area. And another warning still in our area. We've got Joe Vaglione is on. I'm probably destroying his last name. Please forgive me, brother. It's because I am a product of the Iredell State School System. Just with you. But, no.
You are good, my friend. If you wanted to be Italian, you would say Vaglione.
Oh, Vaglione.
But since my family calls me a Southern Italian, we just say Vaglione. But you can just call me Joe, my friend.
Joe V. Yes, absolutely. So, I know we were talking, and so folks, Joe is an expert when it comes to finances, money, business. He knows that for business. The amount of I will not get into the amount of wealth he has created and helped others create. But he has a show here on WSIC. It's all about money and business. And so tune into it, check it out, and he'll give you the dates it's on. It's on before this show. And so he's a guy. But we were talking about what's happening because I was sharing with you when we talked earlier this afternoon about, just the state of things in America right now, the state of our country, the financial shape, because I think it's being downplayed, the severity of going from a 3 rating to a 2 rating and the impact that has on everyday Mr. and Mrs. America, that small business owner, that person who wants to get into it, those who want to buy their first home. We're looking at Freddie and Fannie Mae. How does that, you educate us on those if you can?
Well, here's the truth. You cannot help but recognize there's certain things we're not in control of, but they do affect our lives substantially. Energy is one of them. Whether it's energy to heat your home, whether it's energy to run the power plants that are powering your electric cars, whether it's gas to power your car, and the rating of your country matters. What the rating is, a percent interest rate you're going to pay when you're buying a home or a car, and yes, it even goes down to a refrigerator or a washer and dryer or something like that. So this rating from a AAA to AA plus is a substantial cost because it's calculating the risk of the person giving you the money. Will you give it back? And that process is now costing us more than it's ever happened before, up to, I think, about 45 years. Wow. The drop in rate and the interest rates increase. So the rating dropped and the increase of interest is the highest it's been over 45 years.
Yep. And I think I was reading last week, I can really read, that we haven't had this issue around our rating since 1994. And it reminded me to go back and remember that we have not had a balanced budget in our federal government since 1996, 97. We had and mandated.
It's interesting that you... yes, we had Brian, it's interesting that you say that. And for those of you that are listening, I apologize, Brian. I'm not trying to step over Brian. We're on Zoom, and so sometimes there's a delay. But Brian, what you're saying is absolutely true. The excessive spending, mounting debt is the reason. So it's not just politics when a politician says we got to stop spending, right? Or we've got to get our debt in control. These are real issues that absolutely affect you. So you hit the nail on the head of why what's happening.
I mean, again, I've not heard anyone in the last 15 years talk about, again, I'm campaigning on a balanced budget, either party, left or right, doesn't matter. I mean, but this excessive spending, we've got to, I think, in an articulate, smart way, address entitlements, because the more that we have an aging population, the more of these things that were designed after, say, World War II and, say, post the Depression, maybe even a little bit into some of the 60s, a little bit, maybe, that were supposed to be safety nets, were never designed to be a permanent anything. And I think that we may have one or two generations that think that the government solvency for something is a permanent for you. And that's just not the case. And so the heavy lean on government, which is on everybody else and in their pockets, is a problem. The spending, you're spending on folks now or spending on when they get older, when, health issues and those who don't have health care, all these things are just mounting things as we have a much more aging population. And I'm not suggesting anything nefarious about it. I'm just simply saying we have not went back to adjust and look at the fact that people are living longer. And then how do we help them have a more sustainable life at what they may have been accustomed to living to? Is that fair?
Yeah, it really is. And, you and I, we talk about this often, over the years, and certainly you're the politician between us, right? But the truth is, when citizens are asking their government to do something that they should be doing themselves, it's costing somebody money. I'll give you an example. I talked to a dog catcher guy. I don't know what the official name for him is, Brian, but he drive around, make sure that the dogs aren't creating problems, right? And I stop him and I talk with him, and he says, Joe, I don't have an animal problem. I got a people problem. Because if a neighbor would just knock on the door and say, hey, listen, your dog's in my way, or your dog's barking or something like that, you can take care of it in less than 5 minutes. Instead, we have to have an entire department, entire division, a group of people to go handle something that neighbors to neighbors should be able to handle on their own. And so I know that's a grand example of it, but the point is, you really do need to stop asking your government to do more and more for you, because there is a cost to that.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Anything that's free, somebody else is paying for it. And that doesn't mean to sound harsh or anything like that, but there's nothing, especially, and we know this from dealing with communist countries and socialist countries, there is no free lunch. And if you think something is for everybody to get all across the board, then you better look at the care you're getting for it, because I'm telling you, there's one standard for everything, as they say in more socialist countries and more those of have more dictatorial countries to a degree. There is a problem, and so we don't want that, and we should not be leaning more on government when there are things that we say that like you said, communities, our neighbors, the sense of who we are as how we interact with each other should be a much more than somebody way up in New York or Washington, D.C. Who has no idea and can't identify where we are.
And Brian, to your point, and this is what I want people to understand, right? Like they think it's free. Hey, it's not free. So you ask your government to borrow money to have the dog catcher knock on the door for your neighbor to ask him to stop barking, okay? I'm just using that example because I made that up. Let me just tell you what happened. Because you did that enough to so many different departments, now your government has an A+, a double A+ instead of a triple A. So everything you buy now costs you about 4 to 6% more because your government's debt is so heavy, it's scaring the very people that are loaning your government money. I know it's a simplistic way to look at it. I'm not trying to,
oh, no, you're good, brother.
To make light of this, but I am trying to make it clear to people, every time you ask your government to do something, there is a cost to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have some friends, and so they want to, like you were talking small business earlier when we were talking today. They are ready to get into small business, but the way that there's some bureaucratic regulation to even starting a small business with what the health code you have to have of having a restaurant have made it so bureaucratic, and so the requirements to what size of a freezer you have to have and to what degree it must be set at. And then it's like, how much power goes into just operating a small business. I mean, everything is a thumb regulated under government. And so, and again, not getting the best return for that. It's just, I think it should be much easier for entrepreneurs, and we should be encouraging that and encouraging them to get back into the market all the time to help create, opportunity and wealth in a sense.
So Brian, to your point, you come at this from a political perspective, right? You're saying regulation. What I want you to hear is from a business perspective. It's time. Regulations cost money because it's time to get it done. It's not that the small business person wants to build a crappy building, right? It's not that the restaurant guy doesn't want to make sure this stuff is healthy and good for you. But every time you add a regulation to a small business person, you're costing them time to make sure that it is government approved, and that is real money.
That's real money. And the longer they hold on to their money to get it to where they get to the specifications of what you want, you must have, regulated by this amount of HVAC, or you got to have a certain amount of power going to your utility or whatnot. They're holding on, trying to meet the requirements and staying out of the business, from creating wealth, because they're trying to meet these regulations to get into business. It's crazy, and it should not be so hard. Should not be so tough.
Well, right, Brian, and to your point, to start this conversation about interest rate, time means it's costing me money, and so as the interest rate goes up, that time is costing me more because I borrowed the money to try and open the business to begin with. So if it takes me 4 extra months, that's 4 extra months of interest rate payments that I'm making at a higher rate until I can actually get the business open. And those of you thinking, no big deal, let me tell you something. That adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars before businesses ever actually get open.
Got you. We're coming right up on a break here in about 3 seconds. My brother, hang with me there. It's Joe Vaglione, and he is here. He is the business insider for everything. God bless. Hang tight, Joe.
There's more On the Record with Brian Summers on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Local and North Carolina news now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Now to speak with Brian Summers at 844 Studio 4. It's On the Record on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All righty. It is still Monday here all day long, folks. I'm going to share with you, just again, if you're out there, you're driving on roads, folks, please slow down. Be careful. It is more important that you get home safe and in one piece to your loved ones there than kind of speeding along to be in a hurry somewhere. So please be careful on the roads. We still have a tornado advisory for our area here in the Iredell, Alexander, and Wilkes and Rowan County area. So please be very careful out there on the road. Stay close. Shelter if you're supposed to. But right back here live to you for a couple more minutes, I have Joe Vaglione is going to still be with us, and he is the finance guru, as I like to call him. I know we laugh and joke, and it's always a good time with him, and that's the way I kind of met him was. I met him on a good time. We had a great time, and he's a very smart, brilliant guy, and I won't ever want to take anything away from his talent for knowing what he does. And so, Joe, you still there with me? I know we got a couple more minutes with you, brother.
But Brian, I'm here, and you can make fun of me all you want, buddy. So Brian, I got to go because they're going to shut. You understand? They're going to shut me down in Cornelius down here. You understand that, don't you? Right?
I understand.
They limited my time down here in Cornelius.
I understand, but see, if you were like me, you were the governor here, you could just kind of sit and they leave when you leave.
You're right. I don't pull that kind of weight around here. They tell me what to do up here.
Yeah, I left some of that weight
Brian,
somewhere too.
There is a final thought. I wanted to give you because I watch all of the cable news channels and all that sort of stuff, and I don't want to dig into politics, but Joe Biden and the Democrats want to tell you that the destruction of democracy is the GOP and Donald Trump, and what they're missing is it is this debt. It is the debt that will destroy the entire republic. Because if you cannot be self-disciplined, you will not deserve to be able to choose the choices of freedoms and liberties that you have right now. We measure those all the time, security and freedom and privacy. And, those are privileges we get to do. If you cannot manage debt, you will not have a republic. There is no more democracy. And it really is important that when you hear people talk about spending money, honestly, it is the biggest risk. And it is the number one reason most countries, if you go back in history, have actually failed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I said this in the 90s, and it is even more true now. China owns a large sum of our debt. And it's even grown from the days of the 90s when I was running around there on Capitol Hill saying, no to NAFTA, because I knew what it was going to do to jobs here back in our home state. And so you're right on. I mean, the debt that other countries now have of ours. And so our freedoms are limited because they can recall that debt.
Well, Brian, in business, we know that debt is controlling. We can control a business. I control a business by I'll invest money in your business, but I'm also going to require the operating agreement to say certain things. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what countries are doing to other countries.
Yep.
We'll buy your debt, but there's 3 or 4 things we require you to do for us to do that. So don't think you're not being controlled by the debt that you are attempting to honor.
Joe, you are so smart. Just last week, and it was reported, and I read it on the international media, that Russia forgave like 4 or 5 countries on the African continent of their debt. And I'm thinking to myself, why are they wiping away the debt of Ghana, Nigeria, and Uganda? Why are they wiping the debt away? Russia's footprint and China's footprint on the continent of Africa, resource-wise, they've got a motive and they've got an agenda to it. And so I know we're looking at other areas and other things, but we better keep a watchful eye of what is happening around us that happens to us.
Yeah, but Brian, they reduced the debt because that debt was attached to a 3.5% to 4% interest rate. Guess what's going to happen in less than 12 months? They're gonna go back to the well, and now they're gonna get them with a higher interest rate and lock them in with more regulations and rules. So believe me, it's like candy to a baby.
Wow.
They're absolutely just setting them up.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this knowledge, Joe. Again, thank you, man. I mean, I did since last week. I wanted to get to you and get you in and and get some story. I got a kind of getting over a sinus cold here, so my voice a little raspy. But I wanted to most certainly reach out to you. If anybody understood what I was talking about, what's happening in the European markets and the markets here in the U.S., as well as the jobs numbers that were released being down, and then all our natural resources are going up. Gas prices going up. I know it's about 4 weeks before the last summer holiday, which is Labor Day, when people typically hit the roads and things. And, but fuel itself, oil prices are skyrocketing right now.
Yep. Brian, thank you so much for having me, buddy. It was a great pleasure, and I need to return the favor and get you on my show soon, buddy.
Now you need to take me to your tailor so I can figure out how to get one of those suits like you wear. No. But I'll
I love
always,
you, my friend. I love you.
always a pleasure, man. God bless you and your family, and very, very proud of you. And congrats on the show. Although you're doing good, but I come behind you and I school everything, so that's great. Tell Russell that
Clean
too.
up my mess.
There you go.
Just go ahead and keep cleaning up every day.
So God bless you. Thanks a lot, Joe. Joe Vaglione, folks,
Thank you, my friend.
who was the businessman here for WSIC. All business all the time. That's him, the 411 on money. All right, folks. I hope you all got a little bit out of that. We kind of, Joe I've known him for a number of years, and he has just been an awesome, a good friend and someone that I lean and talk to when I'm trying to understand what's going on with the markets. He has been someone that I have linked on to. So if you've gotten something out of it, you ever want to find out about what's happening when it comes to SBA and business and Fortune business, Joe Vaglione here on WSIC. He has a show here on the studio here on the station, and we're extremely proud of him and glad to have him on our team. If you heard anything on there you want to share your comments with, or any concerns of yours about the mounting debt that the U.S. is having, I got phone lines open, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. I know it's storming outside. There's a tornado watch, particularly here in the area where we are here in Statesville. But just know that I want to ask everybody to please, again, be very, very safe out there with in the Iredell, Alexander, Rowan, Wilkes, and North Mecklenburg vicinity. Please be safe. But if you can and you're able to and you want to just share or just call in and let me know how your weekend went and what your Monday thoughts are, you can give me a call, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. Got some lines open. My lines are open here on the air, folks. And I got about 2 minutes before I get to a break. This weekend, I said it on the front side of where everything was kind of going. I had a really good visit to South River Baptist Church up off of Chipley Ford Road, and it was a really good visit, and folks there were very welcoming, and it'd been my second or third time going up there on a Sunday service, so it was very good. I had a great time, and then this morning I had a great conversation I did over my cup of coffee with Pastor Burrell Brooks, who's the pastor over at St. John's Baptist Church. We had a good chat this morning. So some things are kind of happening and coming together in our community. We're trying to have a much more different focus on things, and we're going to line up. Got some great things lined up for you here for the week as well too. Some things to celebrate. Got a huge celebration. McClellan Shoes, downtown Statesville, been in the business 40 years next week, and so we're going to have them on. Rusty McClellan's going to be here. I'm not sure if we're going to bring the whole family, Leslie and everybody, but the crew. But they're great folks down there, and there's McClellan Shoes in downtown Statesville, the only shoe store in downtown Statesville, and the only family-owned shoe store in all of Iredell County. I'm pretty sure that I can say that for Statesville for sure. But great service there. And it's all because Mondays, when you find out too, folks, it is YMCA Monday. That's the Statesville Family YMCA, and they're located on Wesley and Hartness Road here in Statesville. So you get a chance, check out the Statesville Family YMCA. We have a great time with them, and we'll be back on the other side of this break. This is On the Record with Brian Summers. Thank you. God bless you. And we'll be right back.
More on the With Brian Summers on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, folks, it is still Monday here. And again, I'm going to emphasize, sorry for my scratchy throat. I'm still getting over a sinus cold here. Be very careful out there on the roadways, folks. I cannot say that again. Please be careful. And there are some power outages reported some parts of the city of Statesville. I heard from my neighbors in the downtown area that there was some power out some parts of downtown and some west parts of Statesville as well, too, around Front Street and Miller Avenue, part of West Statesville. But I'm sure that the Statesville Power and Utility crews, along with Energy United, will be right out there. Duke Power helping to really try and restore power in those areas. We ask everybody to be cautious, be patient in what is happening. Most certainly, if anything, be very, very safe during and through this tornado warning that we're going through. Wanted to keep in mind that some things kind of going on here, particularly in Iredell County, Statesville. We still have on the calendar here again, coming up very, very soon, is the Iredell County Fair starting September 1st through the 9th. It's going to be done by the Kiwanis Club, the Statesville Kiwanis Club. They're always producing a great event and great entertainment. That's the Iredell County Fair, and they'll be down at the Iredell County Fairgrounds again from September 1st through the 9th. So there's still opportunities there. If you'd like to get a booth or sign up and register, I'm sure there'll be school nights as well to participate down there that you can all take a part in very much as well, too. We also, if you look around tonight, if you're out and you get around, excuse me, Statesville City Council has a meeting tonight. Statesville City Council, they meet the first and third Monday of every night. Folks who live in our city, Wards 1, Wards 6, and Wards 4. There are going to be upcoming city council elections, particularly in the city of Statesville, as those down in Mooresville. I think Harmony and Troutman also have elections in their municipalities as well. But tonight I know that the Statesville City Council will meet for a pre-agenda meeting. That's at 5:30. And then they have their regular city council meeting at 7 o'clock. They're in the City Hall building at the corner of Center and Front Street in downtown. And then tomorrow night will be the county commissioners. They have their meeting, and they meet there in the old county courthouse right there on Center Street. And so they have their meetings, and their meetings follow, again, the second and third Tuesday of every month. So if you want to know what's going on in your community, what's going on in your town, these are some things pretty much that's going on that you can surely take advantage of and go out and have a voice in. It's very, very important for you to know what's going on. You got crime going on in your neighborhoods. This is where you want to go to kind of have those voice. Also coming up in our town is the Statesville Pregnancy Resource Center. They're having a looks like September 30th. That's a little far off. A life walk, but it's taking place. It'll be at the high school, Statesville High School, around their track, and that's sponsored and put on by the Statesville Pregnancy and Resource Center. So I promise to get better and be over this here. It's cold in my throat. I would do much better. I've been nursing it with some honey and some hot tea, really behind it a lot. Also, we'll let you know going on September the 8th, September 13th from 2 to 4 at the Iredell County Library, downtown Statesville, is going to be Dr. Elliot Engel, and he's going to be talking about the tortured genius of Edgar Allan Poe. So for all those who enjoy great poetry or poetry writing and reading, or just fans of good literature all itself, you can come down to the Iredell County Public Library, downtown Statesville, and it is on September 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. There is a cost for it. It is $20 per ticket. And as we get closer to that date, folks, we'll have some contests. We'll have some Poe trivia, some Edgar Allan Poe trivia we will have for you, and we'll give a couple of those tickets away, which should be very coveted because that's put on by the Iredell Statesville Friends of the Library, and they put that on as their annual meeting of Friends of the Library. So that's, I have to say that I am a board member on the Friends of the Library, just for a disclaimer, but that's something exciting and good going on in our community for sure. And if you want to get a chance to just kind of stay in the know with that, check out All Things North Carolina, All Things Downtown Statesville, and do so. Again, coming up this week, I can tell you before I went to a break, that 40 years of being in business, they've put a lot of shoes on the streets of the city of Statesville. That is McClellan Shoes, located at downtown Statesville. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary in business on the 15th of August. And we're going to have here on my show Thursday here. I can pump this out. Rusty McClellan's going to be here. I'm not sure if he's going to bring his sister Leslie, who's a classmate of mine, and nephew. But we'll know if the whole family's going to be here. Clothes shop, come out here and just be in the studio the whole day. But McClellan Shoes, they've got a giveaway. They've got some great incentives to help celebrate their 40 years of giving good quality service to the city of Statesville, good quality hospitality. As you go through the door there, they're always greeted with the welcome smiles, and also Miss Alicia that works there as well too. I think she's been there a long time. So just a good, healthy environment. And you want to go in and spend your money in places where it's welcomed. And I can tell you that going into McClellan Shoes, you're welcome, and your money is most certainly welcome. They will always greet you with a warm smile, friendly smile, and that is the kind of folks that they are. And to me, they exemplify what good business is, and a small family business, family run, and would I tell you, their faith and their heart matches up just with what they're doing. They're putting out good quality product, and it is the people who have kept them around for 40 years. It's not easy being in business for 1 year, and to think that they have done it for 40 years, and that is, I'm sure, a good reputation, good character, and a quality of what they put in to their service and their customers. And so that's very, very important. So anyway, if you stop downtown, they're right there on Broad Street, right across from Sub Express. I give them that plug. But you can surely, and Delaney's as well too. That's the McClellan Shoes. Go in and stop and see Leslie and Alicia and Rusty, and just tell them you heard about it on WSIC, that we're giving them all kind of plug. But Rusty will be here live in person. He has done some world travels as well too, and I'm sure that he may bring Betty Jo with him, his wife, and we'll take the time to spend to hear from them, get to know them, and to celebrate this awesome event of having them in our community, in our city for 40 years. And so we should be encouraging and celebrating all businesses who have had longevity here and have a great, stellar reputation behind them. And that is, I take no light in saying that about them by any means, because again, I know them personally, and I know the kind of folks they are and how they treat their customers. And again, that's happy 40th anniversary to to the McClellan Shoes, and that's McClellan Shoes in downtown Statesville. I feel like I know them so personally, I started calling off Rusty's name and Leslie right away. But to the McClellans and their parents that started the business and now passed on to a second generation and third generation, because Leslie's sons are in there helping out. And that's what you want to do when you create a dynamic family environment and a business like that. That's good stuff. So we talk about more small businesses. I hope that we will go into the future still celebrating more small businesses in our community. That one really matters. Another small business I like to always talk about, although I say small business, probably thinks big business, is Randy's Barbecue. They'll be open tomorrow. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, and you can get breakfast with them now. You can also get some great barbecue, of course, in their hours down there at the corner of Front and Salisbury Road. I thoroughly enjoy them, and so we know every Wednesday night here on WSIC is our night at Randy's Barbecue. Is WSIC night at Randy's Barbecue. So go in and get a barbecue sandwich, a red slaw, and hush puppies, and see Wendy and Candace down there, and Colin. I got to call him out, and Olivia back there as well. Good folks, good service there at Randy's Barbecue. They've been around a long time here. Started off in Troutman and then made their way up to Statesville, and we're glad to have them in our community. I know that Robin and Randy are great folks, and so again, with good character and a good stellar reputation and a good product. So you want to go in and you want to eat, you want to spend your money where it's welcome, and you get that there. And you smile real big and maybe tell them you heard on WSIC. Randy might toss you a banana pudding. Who knows? It's really good stuff. So, but check out Randy's Barbecue. You get a chance there at the corner of Front Street and Salisbury Road. That's Randy's Barbecue. As we talk about food here, I cannot talk about food. It's Monday. I have to give a plug to the Statesville Family YMCA. This past weekend, their Bright Beginnings program, they took almost 80 kids shopping. These are kids who have come from kind of hard, down on their luck family situations, and took them school shopping, back to school shopping. 80 kids were benefactors of the Statesville Family YMCA Bright Beginnings program. And so hats off to Blake Blakey and the board over there for making that happen this past Saturday, and to all the businesses and people who chipped in to help make this happen, because not every kid gets to go to school with a new backpack or new shoes or new pants or a new jacket even. But the Statesville Family YMCA's Bright Beginnings, this is part of their impact fund. They help to make that happen. They help to close that gap so that every kid can have a fresh start off to school, and that they go with the prayers, number one, and the blessings of open there and go through that classroom to be the best that they can be. And that's what we want for everybody. We want that all the way around. And I wish that for them, and I pray that for them. And that's the kind of community we are, folks. So, again, hats off to the Statesville Family YMCA and Blake Blakely over there for doing that this past weekend. If you got anything else you want to share with us here on WSIC, you can always reach out to us on our events, info at WSIC.com. Shoot us an email or a text about what is happening in your community. We'd love to get it on the air and get you on the air, too. This is On the Record. We talk about a lot of things: politics, local politics, national politics. I know I shared with you a couple minutes ago that they were still on. They hadn't canceled it. It is the Statesville City Council has this meeting tonight. It is this regular meeting as they meet the first and the third Monday of every month. At 7 o'clock opens up the council meeting. Then there's a pre-agenda meeting that takes place, I think, at 6:30. So anyway, you get a chance, check that out. This is Brian Summers for On the Record. God bless you. Please be safe out there. I love you. God loves you. And God bless America.
WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville,